Hello, everybody. I think it's 3 o'clock, so I hope all of you interested are already online. So yes, we are indeed going to hold this entire webinar in English. So my name is Tarja Malm. I'm a professor in molecular neurobiology at the Eija Virtanen Institute, University of Eastern Finland, and I'm the coordinator of this novel program. And together with me are Päivi Eriksson and Paula Inkeroinen. Please.
Hi, my name is Päivi Eriksson. I'm Professor of Management at the University of Eastern Finland Business School, and I'm the co-coordinator of this program.
Hello all, I'm Paula Inkeroinen. I'm the program manager in this program, taking care of the administrative things and, for example, the selection process.
All right, so it's super nice to meet you all. And today we are hoping to provide you information about the novel program, the aims, the scope, and also the application procedure. At any point, please, you can type in questions during the presentation in the chat, and then we will take them after the presentation, and then you can also ask the questions if you prefer to do so. So we will take those questions then at the end of the presentation, and then afterwards, please feel free to email us, me, Päivi, Paula, and Piritta. Then so this is a short introduction now to the program. So NOVEL is a Marie Skłodowska-Curie action. So this is a European Union's flagship funding program. And this NOVEL program is now specifically for postdoctoral education and postdoctoral training. So for the next slide. And all of these Marie Curie actions adhere to the following principles, which is the excellent mobility, bottom up and open to the world, excellent recruitment, working conditions and inclusiveness, as well as effective supervision, career guidance, open science, European Green Deal, and synergy. So these are the principles that also NOVEL adheres. But we will now tell more about the NOVEL program. So you can skip this slide. So I'm the coordinator, and NOVEL is an acronym of a very long title, which is the Novel Brain Health Solution across 4 focus areas: prevention and care, methods and data, innovation and society, and ethics and well-being. And it is a super long title, but it actually really well captures what we are aiming to do. So I'm the coordinator, Päivi is the co-coordinator, and then we also have a program manager, Paula Inkeroinen here, and then our impact manager, Piritta Parkkari, who is unfortunately not able to join us today. You can go to the next slide, please. So we're located in Kuopio, in the middle of Finland, at the University of Eastern Finland, and altogether NOVEL recruits 14 fully paid postdoctoral positions. These are all 3 years, and altogether there are 23 supervisors for the NOVEL program. And whilst the University of Eastern Finland is the sole organizer of the program, we also have 9 university partners, as well as 25 intersectoral partners. So we are really intersectoral and cooperative way. So yeah, you can go to the next slide. So a NOVEL program really tackles the key challenges in brain health, which is, first of all, earlier diagnosis and prediction and identification of those that suffer from brain diseases. We need to develop more personalized treatments for the brain diseases. And to be able to do these things, we need to have advancements in methods and technologies. And of course, we have to do all these developments in a responsible and ethical way. So altogether, NOVEL has expertise in neuroscience, data science, innovation management, health economics, and also legal studies. So we are very, very interdisciplinary. So why choose NOVEL? And maybe I would like to strengthen here that UEF is really the leading hub for interdisciplinary brain health research in Finland. So we have world-class resources, data, patient cohorts and methodologies. We also have strong collaborations, both within the university, but also beyond it. For example, with the University Hospital Kuopio, as well as several intersectoral partners that we have here in Finland. So this is a very good place to do brain research. And also NOVEL program offers great research opportunities. So the idea is that you have research autonomy. Unlike very often other conventional postdoctoral programs, you are here the lead of your own research at the very early career stage. Also, these MSCA positions are really renowned. They are prestigious in reputation. And also our program supports the interdisciplinary and intersectoral concepts throughout the program. We also have several other advantages. So the salary is good. It's a full-time job, so you can't concentrate on your research only. So this is a research program. You concentrate on your research only. You don't have to apply for personal funding anymore for the 3 years. It includes travel allowance for you to attend conferences and do secondments and visits. It also covers some of the research costs, such as like consumables and publication costs. It also covers some of the innovation costs that are there to support any innovation activities. It also provides family allowance if you are coming with the family, and also mobility allowance. And of course, special needs allowance and support is available. And beyond that, you are also entitled to all the UEF staff benefits that we have. So you can, yes. And we also provide intersectoral exposure through secondments and visits. So within the NOVEL program, there is one compulsory intersectoral secondment that should last about 2 to 6 months. And this is supposed to be done with one of our partners. You can check the partners in our website that you see the address over here. And this can be done locally, nationally, or globally. And have to remember that this can be on-site, but also can be done remotely or in a hybrid mode. We also have a possibility to offer you an additional optional secondment, again lasting for 2 to 6 months. And then you can also include short visits. So we're really hoping that all these secondments and visits are going to give you a very nice exposure, not only to the university setting, but also to the intersectoral settings. So next slide, and these are all our partners, so the universities, and also a lot of the patient advocacy groups, also companies and other partners. Yes, next slide, yes. We also provide support for the research and career development. So we want to give you all the tools and resources and knowledge that you need in order for you to advance in your career later on. Each of you will be assigned a supervisor, a co-supervisor, a secondment supervisor, and a mentor. So you're really well taken care of. And in addition, you're going to be enrolled to the UEF novel research community and the brain research community here at the UEF. And you're going to be creating a personalized career development plan that is really tailored to your background, to your needs, and that will guide you further in your career. And also, by doing all this, we want to empower you to really lead your own impactful brain health research projects. We want to increase your internalization in your research profile and foster this kind of interdisciplinary and intersectoral collaboration and your networking capabilities. So the next slide, please. So we offer a lot of customized training activities. So here are listed some of the workshops and courses that we have available. And these are really tailored for the novel postdocs only. But then you are welcome to attend any of the courses that are and training that is available at the UEF as such. So the next slide, please. So these are some of the key requirements during the program. So this is a full-time job, full-time dedication, and this is done here in Kuopio. So you would need to move here in Kuopio. The intersectoral secondment is mandatory into a partner organization, of course, taking into account that it can be done remotely or inside or in a hybrid mode. You should participate to the novel events and training, and also create a personal career development plan and create and maintain the data management plan. And of course, you need to adhere to open science, communication and dissemination policies, as well as comply to the UEF policies and with the local law. Some important remarks. Kuopio is here are a couple pictures of the campus area. So you would be working here in Kuopio. It is a quite small city with about 120,000 inhabitants. It is beautiful with all the different seasons, and Finland is the world's happiest country. We have excellent work-life balance, safety, and also great support for the families. So it's a great place to do work. So now we're going to go through some of the research opportunities that we offer together with Päivi. So the idea is that you decide and design your own research idea. So it should be related to brain health and at least to one of the novel research areas. Should be interdisciplinary. It should include intersectoral mobility, and it should be collaborative. And you should plan it so that it is innovative and also includes translational medicine approaches that have actual clinical or societal impact. And you should exploit the cutting-edge infrastructure and databases that are available at the UEF. And of course, need to comply with the UEF policies and of course, the local law. So here are the 4 research areas. So prevention and care and methods and data on the upper, where we have 5 positions open. And then innovation in society and ethics and well-being on the lower bottom of the square, where we have 5 positions open. So now we will go together with Päivi, we will go through a little bit of more detail what these research areas actually mean and what kind of projects you can design for here. So first of all, the prevention and care and methods and data can be defined as one where we have 5 positions open. So these projects that you would plan here would be examples of some of these. It doesn't have to compile all of these, but you can pick some. So it could be, for example, exploration on how genetics or environmental factors contribute to brain diseases. It could be a project in which you use large multi-omic datasets or imaging techniques or advanced data analytics to really uncover disease mechanisms or disease risk, or then to identify novel biomarkers. Alternatively, it could be a project in which you want to use or develop, for example, human-based models. So you can design a project that where you want to use, for example, human brain tissue samples, or where you want to develop or use, let's say, iPS-derived cellular models. It can also be a project in which you want to bridge research. So you can have a project, or you can suggest a project that employs, for example, electrophysiology and single-cell technologies, or different omics approaches. So it can be very combination techniques. And of course, it can be a project in which you would use kind of omic analysis and deep phenotyping and machine learning approaches to really develop personalized diagnostic or prognostic tools. So this for Päivi then to explain further.
Okay, thank you. And these are the other 2 research areas, innovation in society and ethics and well-being. And these research areas are supervised by professors in the business school at our university, then in the law school, and also health economics. And in these research areas, we are studying phenomena that are happen in the brain health context, but we are not doing research on health as such. As you can see, it's about innovation, ethics, and well-being. Those are the main topics. And so it's more like means that how brain health is understood, how it changes within society, and then different types of innovation processes, costs of health, and then ethical issues, human well-being. Those are the kind of areas that we have here. So these two research areas cover quite a large set of different topics. And you can see from the novel web pages some examples of the more precise topics, but it's not limited to those only. And then, of course, this public and patient involvement is one key area also in these two research areas. And here are some examples of the kind of data that you can collect. We also have some existing data sets, especially in the health economics area. But mostly you would need to collect your own data. And then some of the special questions are language issues if you want to do interviews or surveys. So in that way, already existing data, of course, is often really good if you have a topic like that. And then one thing that you should also take into account in these research areas is that this is primarily research. So societal impact, of course, is involved, but these they are not development projects as such. So the main job is to do research, and then your research should have societal impact. Okay, maybe we can move on. I will first go through some of the broader process that you will go through if you decide to apply to this program, and to be able to proceed smoothly through the application process. So we are explaining you here some issues about how the novel program works, but you can find much more information on our web pages. The novel, I can see that there should be, Paula, there should be novel/uef.fi.
Yeah, it's the second
address.
Yeah.
But the web pages they cover a lot of information about the program. So the first thing to do when you consider if you want to apply would be to go to the web pages and see more details about the program. And then the second thing is to confirm if you are eligible for this program. You can also find the criteria of eligibility criteria on the web pages. For instance, that you have not been living in Finland for more than 12 months during the past 3 years, because this is a mobility program. But otherwise, it's any nationality anywhere in the world where you are. It doesn't matter. And of course, also returning Finnish postdocs are also eligible if they have been living abroad for the past 3 years. But you can confirm your eligibility by sending an email to this novel email address, and Paula and Pirita will check it for you. And then you should find first one supervisor in the among the 23 that Tarja mentioned that you can see descriptions of on the web pages. So find one supervisor, and then you can send out a short topic description and how that would fit the research area that you have chosen. And then you can also discuss with the supervisor in Teams or Zoom more precisely, because the supervisor needs to evaluate the technical fit of your topic to the program. Not the other content as such, but the technical fit. Is it feasibility? Is it feasible to pursue the research that you are suggesting within the 3-year time frame? Do we have adequate supervision? Do we have the equipment and all other infrastructure for the kind of topic? And then, of course, you can reconsider your topic if it's so that all of the technical fit does not exist. But this is why you can discuss with the supervisors. And but if there is, when you reach a technical fit, then you can really write your longer research proposal and finalize the other documents, and also ask for the support letter from at least one supervisor. Your first contact supervisor might suggest that you can also ask for letters from some other supervisors, and you can discuss that. And then this is really important, the point number 6, that we who are supervisors in this program and we coordinators, we cannot give you advice on the content of your research proposals. So you should ask feedback from your own network, your peers, your former PhD supervisors perhaps, or anyone else, but not us. Ask for feedback and then revise if needed. So in that way, you don't need to work alone, but you need to seek the help from your own network. And then, of course, when you read the novel web pages, you can see all the documents that are needed. And some of them might take you some time to get. So be early in that also. And when you submit your application, you can still revise it. So you will have the access to the system, the electronic system, and you can revise if you want. But this is basically the process that you would go through if you decide to apply. And then I will tell you a little bit about the selection process and the evaluation process, which is based on openness, transparency, merit, impartiality, equality for all researchers who are applying. And this means that we who are running the program, we do not do any kind of evaluation. It will be independent external evaluators who will read your proposals and your CV and grade them in 2 phases. Can you please? Okay, I guess you all know that we have the second call open now, and it will end on February 28th. And then we will know about the results in August 26th. And then the researchers who are...
any peer reviews or anything.
Sorry?
Okay, because I wanted to go...
Did you have a question? Okay, the last thing is that between August and November this year, the chosen researchers would need to start work in Kuopio. So it will take a little bit of time, the evaluation process, just because we use external evaluators and have 2 evaluation rounds. Okay, this is about the same thing that we went through already. And here are details about the eligibility criteria. And these are the criteria that you can check by sending an email. Of course, you need to have a PhD degree to be eligible. And then the other important criteria is that you have less than 7 years of research experience after finalizing your PhD degree. And then the mobility requirement I already mentioned. But those are the basic ones. And then, of course, having at least 1 support letter, as I mentioned already. And here's again the address to our Novel webpage, where you can meet the supervisors. And there are also videos of the research groups in our program. So you can also watch those. Next one, please. Okay, here is the names of the research groups that are involved in this program. Not all of them are here, is it? Yes, okay. So the first ones were the research groups for the 2 first research areas, and these 3 are for the second or the third and fourth research areas. But you can find all of this on the web pages. And yes, the group leader interviews you can find in YouTube if you wish to watch those before contacting supervisors. And as I said earlier, the discussions in teams with the supervisor is really to discuss the technical fit of your research to this program. And then another detail is to fill in together with the supervisor ethics and infrastructure form after the technical fit has been reached. So you don't need to fill in those alone. The supervisor can help in that. And an important thing is here that receiving a letter of support is only an eligibility criteria. So it doesn't guarantee in any way that you would be chosen. Those are not, the name might be a little bit confusing, but those are not sent out to reviewers. It's only for the purpose of knowing which research group you have been discussing with on your topic. But still, the letter, you need to submit it together with all the other documentation in the application system. And please do not send your CV or the full research proposal to the supervisors, because they should only read your short description of the topic to be able to discuss the technical fit. So CVs you can send them to the NOVEL email just for the purpose of our administrative staff to evaluate your eligibility. They are not used for any other purposes by us. So only a short description of your research idea is enough to send that to the supervisor, and then you can meet in Teams or Zoom and discuss further. And in this short description, there are some key issues that you should provide: the aims and objectives of your research, then required data, materials, infrastructure, because these are all technical fit issues. So supervisors need to see that it's possible to implement the kind of research that you are proposing in Kuopio, in our university. And then if there are some technical problems, then you can of course discuss how to change those. But then also one thing that is really important in the evaluation process, that you indicate clearly that how your research in the proposal, how it aligns with the novel research areas. And then also the University of Eastern Finland strategic profile area, aging, lifestyles and health. In this strategic profile area, you do not need to have connections to all of these, aging, lifestyles and health. It's not a combination of these is required, but either health, lifestyles, aging, connection to those, and the novel research area that you have chosen. Next one, please. And this is the form that I mentioned already earlier, that you need to indicate the possible ethical problems or challenges or requirements in your research project, but this is something you can do together with the supervisor. And there is a template form on the novel web pages. And then you have a meeting with the supervisor, and together you will fill in this form and then attach that to your application. And one important issue is that in some cases, the research group or your supervisor, they already have needed approval from an ethics committee, and that should be also mentioned. But your supervisors will tell you these again. And this is the thing that I explained already, that supervisors cannot read your full proposals or give you any feedback on the content of your research proposal. So please ask feedback from someone else outside the novel program. Okay, so you need your research proposal. You will write it independently, but then can ask help for other people outside the novel program. And there's a template. There's templates for everything in this program. So for support letters, there's a template for research proposal, for CV, all of the application documents that you need to put into the system. There's a template for those. Okay, and those other things we already covered. And here are a list of all the documents that you can also find on the web page. So it's.
Oh, do you want to read? Shall I
Uh,
continue?
I just mentioned that there is one document that I didn't mention is the data management plan. But there is also a template for that, how to write it, and it's just preliminary, a short one. But really use the templates, as it says here on the slide, that if you don't use the templates, you are not eligible. So your application will not be evaluated. Then we can move to the next. And here are some details of the research proposal template. You can see that the research proposal is not long. That is required here. But then, of course, it means that it needs to be quite concise. But it includes your description of your own excellence as a candidate that you will write about yourself. Then excellence of your research project that you are suggesting. Then you need to write about the impact of your research project and related issues, about implementation of the project. You can provide then references to a certain limit, and you need to insert a Gantt chart or some other type of chart to show the timeline of your research. And here you will also show that it's feasible to implement your study within the 3-year frame that we have. And please remember that you should also be able to publish during these 3 years. So do not plan a project in which you would collect data for 3 years or analyze data for 3 years. That needs to be done quicker to be able to publish also. And what is really important in the evaluation in your proposal is the novelty. Compared to what is known already on your research topic, you need to show that there is novelty in what you are proposing. And then, of course, the proposal needs to be ambitious to get good points, but then also realistic, so that the evaluator can see that it's possible and it's realistic to pursue this study. And the implementation description is really important, because that's the place where the evaluator can see then that is it really possible to implement the study during this program. And of course, many of you, especially in the neuro research areas, would have already existing data in the research groups, but especially for the innovation in society and the ethics and well-being research areas, you really need to think about, if you are collecting your own data, that it's feasible to collect. You would be in Kuopio, in Finland. So what kind of data you can collect, how much data you can collect to be able to analyze it and to write your publications. And then an important thing is that if you are proposing something that you don't have much background in, so explain how you would require this, the skills or knowledge that would be needed for the study. And of course, in this kind of program, the impact of your research also matters, because it's a separate section in the proposal. Next one, please. Yes, of course, always be specific in your proposal, in your CV, and there's limited space. And of course, it's easier for the evaluators if you structure it well. It's easy to read, it's easy to understand what you are proposing. And justify your choices. If there would be several possible choices, you make one and then you say why. Why did I choose this one? And you can put the references in a very concise format. And here it is said again, ask colleagues or peers or anyone you know for feedback. I will not go through this CV template. You can see it. It's a ready-made template that is. It's easy to understand what you need there. Next one. It's an electronic system where you submit your application and then attach all the documents. And as I said already, you can then still access it and go and revise if you see that something was missing or you want to change something. And try to submit the application not on the last day or the couple of last days. And after the deadline, we cannot take it into account or any changes that have been made after the deadline. And this is important, although there are several research areas, and you might discuss with several PIs in the process, you can only submit one application. And if by accident you would submit several ones, is the first one that will be evaluated. Next one, please. Here is a figure of the evaluation process that you can also find on the web pages, and there you can see what happens in the process. So there's first the external peer review, in which each application, each applicant is evaluated by 3 international independent experts. And then the second round of review happens in the selection committee. That also, in some cases, if needed, they can change a little bit the scores on the first external peer review. And you will be notified after always when something happens. You will be notified, and then, as you can see there are appeal possibilities. So if you think something went wrong, or there are some mistakes, then you can appeal. And we have an appeal committee external appeal committee that will then go through the complaints. And then the final decision of who will be offered a position is done by the steering committee. And then, so 10 positions will be offered. And then if you exceed the points, threshold points, you can be on a waiting list. So if someone will not take the position, then we will offer it to someone on the waiting list. But here on the web pages, you can study these details further if you are interested. Next one, please. And here you can still see that when you will be notified of what happens, and then when you can also then appeal. And you can see here that it's a short time period. There's 5 days to make an appeal, and then you will also get the response quite quickly. Next one, please. And this is a table that shows the evaluation criteria used by the evaluators. So here you can see and take into account when writing your proposal, you can see what will be evaluated and how. I will not go through all of these details because you can see those on the web pages. How about these questions? Is it?
So I suppose
the first one?
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just trying to read the first one. Or is this Piritta's?
I think
Piritta
the
has
first one is
written
Piritta's
those.
note. So maybe first one is Piritta's note. So let's now open the discussion. These were present questions. So the first question would be, should the proposal include a deployable solution for a real-life use case? And here maybe I could start with it can include, but it's not necessarily mandatory. So one thing that Päivi already mentioned is that this is a research project. This is a research program. So you should propose a research proposal. If it does lead to a deployable solution for a real-life use case, then that's great, but it's not mandatory. Do you want to, Päivi, add here anything on your field?
Maybe one thing that, especially in the research areas that I'm representing, it could be a different type of program, might be a development program in which you would write a development proposal. But this is not that kind of program. It's research, as Tarja said, and then in addition to that, if there's a real life use case, it can be there, but it cannot be the primary issue of your project.
All right. Then the next question is that, are there any limitations on the type of data that could be used for research studies? So here you can suggest the type of data, but of course, if this is not publicly open data, then you should discuss if there is a certain type of data that you need in your project. You should discuss with the PI that this data is actually available. So if this is something that needs to be available from the PI side, then you need to find this technical fit, which means that you need to discuss with the PI in case there are specificities in the type of data or material or infrastructure or anything. Other than that, there are no limitation. It really comes from your idea and whether that is being whether that is technically feasible and being fit with the PI's research area. On your behalf, do you, Päivi, want to add here anything?
Of course, one thing is that you can discuss with the supervisor is that your data needs to be ethical. It needs to follow the ethical rules we have in Finland for research data, but this is an issue. This is a technical issue that you can discuss with the supervisor. And then, of course, one limitation, at least in my research areas, is that what kind of data is realistic for you to collect. Because, for instance, interviews, you always need to consider the language issue and also for surveys. And you cannot rely on the research group to fill in or collect data for you, because this is an individual project. You need to decide it in a way that you can collect all the data needed. And one problem that I often see is that you might think that you need a lot of data, but 3 years is a short time. So, for instance, collecting interviews, making surveys, collecting your own data, it's within the time limits of this program. It cannot be overly large data sets that you plan.
All right. And then the third question, can people who've been in MSEA programs before apply? Here, Päivi, do you have specific information on this if other eligibility criteria are met?
As far as I know, you can apply, because it can happen that you have done your PhD in a Marie Curie program. It's perfectly okay. You can apply for a postdoc position in one. And also, Paula, maybe you know better, but if you have started a postdoc in another Marie Curie program, but for some reason want to leave it, I think you are still eligible to apply for another one.
I think so.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
if anyone would have any problems like that, you can contact Paula and then ask in more detail about your case.
All right. And then let's see the chat if we have any questions in there. There is one question from Karri. Does the second visit need to be within EU? So the idea of these secondments, if you are referring to the secondments, is that they are done within the partner universities. So these partner universities are listed in our webpage. And then there is a question on whether the templates are available, and thank you, Chiara, for finding the link and putting it here in the chat. And then another question from Kari: could the status of the application be tracked online? We don't have an online tracking system for the application status. We do have a timeline that was now shown here, and this approximately tells how the review process goes on, but we don't have any pre-information on any stage during the process. All right. You can also just open your mic and hop in if you have questions. All right. No other questions. Well, if no other questions, if you come up with
Sorry, I was
anything.
trying to unmute my mic. If I could have a question very quickly.
Absolutely, sure, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Really interesting presentation. It's a busy work day, so I have had to been going in and out, but I was able to catch most part of the presentation. So my first question is, would this presentation be made available to us to review later, especially the slides? Or can I already put out that request as it is to have these slides
Yes.
that you used? It would be nice to have to review it later on.
Yeah, so there will be a link, a web page link. Like we will put this entire presentation and everything online. So
Okay.
you can actually listen to the entire presentation later on. We also have done this previously, so there will be a couple of different versions of the same presentation. So they are all online, and the links to the presentations are in our web pages, in the Novel web page.
Okay, perfect. So if I could ask a couple more fellowship specific questions. So the fellowship is for 3 years, and it's 100% research. And there is going to be provision for the funding will cover everything that the fellow needs throughout the research period. So I was just wondering, would there be support for post-fellowship development? Because doing the research for 3 years is one thing. What guarantees are there to support the fellow's career development beyond the 3 years? Or is this something that the fellow has to figure out him or herself? What opportunities are there in Finland? Because I think this is really key. The fellowship is very attractive. I like it a lot. It offers very decent package in my assessment. But then there is a question of how's this research scope, the funding scope in Finland, and how does it support young researchers? The reason I'm asking this question, for example, I look forward to putting in an application, and the model of application I look forward to put is to try to address a component of some ideas I hope to pursue. For example, my application is found worthy, but it's part of a larger frame of something I hope to continue to work on towards my independence. So I hope to use it as a means to an end, and the end there is my independence as a researcher. So what kind of support can one anticipate in Finland?
Yeah, so during the Novel program, we have a lot of different training that are kind of like directed towards building your career perspectives. So there are training, there are networking options, and these visits and everything. So we really try to get you exposure as well as knowledge and skills that help you further on. But of course, Novel doesn't really guarantee any. After the 3-year period, it doesn't guarantee you any positions later on. It's only what it does. It enhances your skills, CV, your network. So this is what we are building, but we don't have any system that would actually guarantee you a position and like a more independent research position in the future.
Okay, one final question, if I may ask. What's the success rate of application? Like in the first round, how many % of the application was successful, if I may ask? Do you have that kind of data?
From the previous round, you mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So, Paolo, do we have numbers? We filled in 4 positions in the last round, and do you, Paolo, remember how many applications were submitted to the external review?
We sent 17. We received 31 applications. 17 was sent to peer review, and then 6 were selected, and 4 accepted the positions.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Any other questions?
I have a question. First of all, thank you a lot for the presentation. It was very well detailed and explained. The person that is selected for this fellowship, there is a system in which is checked the progress of the of the project. For example, every year should make a report with the successful point that are made in the process, in the project. Publication is there is a mandatory timeline, let's say.
Yeah, Päivi, do you want to comment on this?
Well, there is kind of, I think it's every 6 months, a monitoring survey, which is for the whole program, all participants in the program. But then, of course, you would discuss these issues with the supervisor or supervisory team. And for instance, one way of supporting you and then also discussing the progress is that in our university, we have a practice of having yearly developmental discussions with all staff. And that would be in this program, I think it would be your supervisor, one of your supervisors, with whom you would have this discussion. So there are different instruments. One is for the whole program, where we follow the progress of all applicants or all candidates, and then personal support and development discussion. Does
Okay,
this
thank you.
answer to your question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, good.
All right. Any other questions? Well, if not, then thank you very much for participating. We're looking forward to your contacting the PIs and or us, and looking forward to your applications. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.